If you think cheating starts with desire, you're already wrong. Because mine started with silence. Not anger, not temptation, not even love fading, just silence. The day I got the message, my life didn't break loudly, cracked quietly. My phone vibrated once. And in that moment, something inside me already knew. When I opened it, my chest tightened. She's pregnant. Not from my wife. From another woman. And the worst part? I loved my wife. I still do. That's what makes this story dangerous. Because this is not about a man who stopped loving. This is about a man who became something he swore he would never be. My father had many women, many children, broken homes scattered behind him like footprints. I grew up hating that life, promising myself I would never become him. But nobody tells you this. You don't become your father in one big moment. You become him slowly, quietly, one small decision at a time, before everything went wrong. My wife, Aida, and I had peace. Real peace. We laughed easily. We prayed together every night. We planned a future that felt safe, clean, untouched. People called us blessed. And I believed them, because there were no signs, no warnings, no cracks we could see. That's what makes destruction so cruel. It doesn't always announce itself. Sometimes, it walks behind you, while you're busy thanking God for your life. Then came the transfer, promotion, a new city, Glass Hollow. It looked like opportunity, felt like progress, but it was distance. And distance is where quiet things grow. My wife hesitated. I saw it in her eyes. But she trusted me. That was the part that broke me later. She trusted me completely. I promised I would come home every weekend. I promised nothing would change. And I believed it. I truly believed it. At Glass Hollow, everything moved fast, bright, busy, distracting. And that's where I met her. Somaya. She didn't flirt. She didn't cross lines. She didn't even try. That's what made it dangerous. She was calm, attentive. She noticed things. If I skipped meals, she noticed. If I stayed late, she noticed. If I looked tired, she noticed. And loneliness doesn't attack you, sits beside you, quietly, waiting for you to speak first. I told myself I was strong. I told myself I was different from my father. But here's the truth no one wants to admit. Strength doesn't fail loudly. It fades quietly. One evening, the office was empty. No noise. No distractions. Just two people who had been sitting too close for too long. There was no plan, no intention, no passion. That's what scares me the most. It didn't feel powerful. It felt ordinary, like something small, like something I could control. But that moment changed everything. And when it was over, I already knew this was not just a mistake. This was a beginning, because some mistakes don't end, they grow. I went home that night and couldn't sleep. My wife called me, and I answered, with a voice that didn't belong to me. I told myself it would never happen again. I told myself I could bury it. But buried things don't disappear. They wait. And then, the message came. She's pregnant. That was the moment I stopped lying to myself. Because this was no longer about guilt. This was about truth. I was becoming my father. Not because I wanted to, but because something inside me already knew the way. I stopped sleeping, stopped eating. Every message from my wife felt heavier. Every "I miss you" felt like a knife. And the worst part? She still trusted me. When I came home, she didn't shout. She didn't accuse. She just looked at me, trying to understand something, couldn't explain. That silence was louder than anger. Every night I lay beside her, feeling like a stranger in my own life. Until one night, I told her everything. No excuses, no lies, just truth. She didn't scream. She didn't collapse. She just sat there, very still. And then she cried. Not loudly, not dramatically, just deeply, like something inside her had broken forever. She asked me one question. Why? And I had no answer. Because how do you explain something you don't fully understand yourself? That night, I watched my wife grieve a future we hadn't even lived yet, and I knew I had destroyed something I could never rebuild the same way. Guilt became a dark place. A place where thoughts don't shout, they whisper, telling you it would be easier to disappear. I almost listened, until fear pushed me somewhere unexpected. Not to a doctor, not to a pastor, but to a man people spoke about, in low voices, an elder. When I finished telling him everything, he didn't judge me, he didn't comfort me either. He just listened. Then he said something that changed everything. Forget excuses. Look at your blood. He asked about my family, my father, my grandfather, the marriages, the betrayals, the patterns. And as I spoke, something terrifying became clear. This wasn't random. It was repeating, like a path already drawn. He looked at me and said, "You are guilty, but you are not the beginning." That sentence shook me, because for the first time, I wasn't just looking at my mistake. I was looking at a pattern, one that had been living long before me. But here's the part that matters. Pattern is not a prison, unless you refuse to see it. I went back to my wife, not to defend myself, not to escape blame, but to tell the truth, completely. I accepted the child. I accepted the consequences. No hiding, no running. And somehow, she chose to stay, not because she forgot, but because she understood something deeper than pain. Healing didn't come fast. It didn't come easy. And it didn't erase what happened. But it began. Slowly, quietly, the same way everything started. And that's when I understood this. The curse didn't control me, followed me, until I saw it.